Hello everyone, welcome back to the stream. Coming back to you now with the next round. We are getting very close to, the final moments before we are going to make our way into top 8, and we have another amazing feature match for you today.
Yeah, on the one hand, we have Ole Stognief from Germany, and he's facing off versus Ross Cawthon from the USA. And yeah, since we picked players for feature matches before, right, we selected them before the tournament started. But now, since the tournament is narrowing down to the top 8, we decided to pick some of the top standing players and show them on stream as well and show you a little bit more variety so you can see all the decks that are performing really well. And yeah, so Ole is playing Zacian and Melcario, and Ross is playing ADP and Spiritomb. So yeah, then they're hopping into game very soon, and it's going to be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, for sure. The ADP Spiriting variant is a very sort of interesting variant of the sort of ADP archetype generally, not one that we've seen a massive amount of. In fact, not seen that. It's not. It's coming from Ross. Generally, I know that Ross Cawthon, he likes to play some of these perhaps slightly more unusual archetypes sometimes. So I think it's kind of cool to sort of see this coming and see some great sportsmanship from Ola as well. Just saying good luck to Ross there. So nice way to start things off.
Yes, you always love to see it. Like, I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's a game, and we're all here to have some fun and see some fun matches. And yeah, that's super great. And yeah, I think this matchup is going to be interesting. Like, on the one hand, Ole is his deck seems to be more defensively orientated, with the Mammoth Lucario reducing damage done to metal Pokemon. And Ross, on the other hand, with the ADP GX attack plus stuff like Hustle Belt and Shrine of Punishment, trying to boost this damage as much as possible. So the strategies to victory are like still the same because they're both taking prizes, but the way to get there is a little bit different.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We see there that Ross does start off with a quick all discards another Jirachi, and gonna obviously be looking through now to see what he has access to, what he doesn't, and just try to figure out how he's gonna tackle this. I'm sure he has a game plan in mind for the Zacian decks generally, but of course, although quite cleverly, he's not played down his Lucario Melmetal, so there's a chance that Ross might not quite be 100% aware of what kind of variants of Zacian that he's always playing, and he might have to adapt accordingly once he sees that Lucario Melmetal hit the bench.
Also, the Lucario Melmetal is pretty good in stopping the GX attack from the Arceus, Dialga, Palkia, because if it go not really stopping, but setting them back on tempo, because if they go active and they do the GX attack, and then you go ahead and send up your Melmetal Lucario, you discard the energy, and then you essentially negated their plus 30 and discarded 2 energy from them, so you set them back a lot. And the thing is, with Metal Page, you can set up the bonus effect for them, the Lucario Melmetal GX attack, in just one turn. So that's quite interesting. And also, another thing he can do, or Ole can do, to set back Ross's Alter Creation is by hitting Crushing Hammerheads on the Rainbow Energies.
Yes, he can, and I'm sure that's what he'd like to try and do if he can. He has one Crushing Hammer in his hand already, although the small issue he might have is that if he wants to play a Professor Magnolia, card 2 metals would be far from ideal. Looks like instead he's opting for the tag call, going to grab the second Lucario Melmetal, so now we'll have a better idea of what variant he's up against, and Tails on the Crushing Hammer. That's a bit of bad luck.
Yeah, but it's Cynthia Caitlin here is really just fine, because you would hate to discard so many resources, and just having that option, like we saw that in early tech call builds, as we see the 4-off, the whole quartet in his hand, 4 Metal Saucer on turn 1. That's what you hate to see. Really unfortunate. And yeah, Cynthia Caitlin is like a soft draw you always have access to if you play tech call builds. But yeah, if you draw like that, that's super bad. At least he has the intrepid sword, but still.
What even is that? That's
Yikes.
ridiculous. Wow.
Oh.
Well, the Intrepid Sword hits a metal energy at least, so that's good, I guess. But still, that's so unlucky to draw all 4 metal sources.
Yeah, there's no way you can discard this hand. There's like you can't. If you do
No.
that, you just lose instantly because you throw away so many resources. So yeah, that's just PTCGO luck for you sometimes. We all experience that, right? You draw your
Yep.
hand and you start 4 versus Seeker plus a Professor Sycamore or something like that.
Yep.
So yeah,
I
let me
mean,
see.
I've had that happen in real life as well before. It's like.
Sometimes it's just happening, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, you have to do your best. Maybe if he top decks like Metal Energy, he will at least be able to attack. And if his station gets knocked out instantly, at least he can just Metal Saucer back all that energy cards right away and get some value out of that. But
Yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
now you're essentially waiting for your opponent to take a knockout, and if they take 3 prizes on your station, um, yeah, that's not ideal.
Well, either way, it looks like Ross has been able to get himself the second energy he needs to power up the Arceus Dialga and Palkia GX. He will now be able to go for that Alter Creation GX with the full effect, so plus 30 damage on all of his attackers and plus 1 extra prize taken for each knockout from damage of an attack. Looks like indeed there was a Metal Energy drawn for Ullus. That's pretty good. He's able to use a Quick Ball to discard Metal Energy and then use the Oranguru to put a Metal Saucer back on top of the deck. We know that the card he swaps with on top of his deck won't be another Metal Saucer, so
At least there's that. Yeah,
yeah.
maybe. Yeah, now if you can get off um the GX attack from the Melmetal Lucario right here, that would be pretty good. Even if you just like you can maybe retreat and then just Metal Saucer back the other 2 on the Zacian. At least that's where you can get some value out of it. But instead
Yeah,
he's just going to research them away. Not quite
yeah,
as painful as discarding 4. At least he got value out of, like, he can get value out of his 4th one, and he used 1 on this turn. But still, you're super far behind like this.
yeah. It's still not really ideal in the slightest. So there goes the Brave Blade from the Zacian Vini active, 230 damage to the Arceus Dialga and Palkia GX. We leave it on 50 HP left. Now over to Ross to see what he can do. He probably doesn't want to try and build Spite a little bit more. He just really wants to build up that Spiritomb to the point where he's got enough damage to put the Hustle Belt on it and start hitting for massive numbers with Anguish Cry. I want to say is the name of the attack. Yeah, it's Anguish Cry.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
correct.
Rainbow Energy going on to the Arceus Dialga and Palkia as well. So now it's up to 240 damage. Of course, you can move one of those away, or even 2 of those away now to Jinx he has on the bench. Oh, there
Oh,
goes a
that's
big charm.
interesting. That's a really interesting
Ooh.
combo. Like the attack from the Spiritomb scales with the amount of damage counters on it, and if you put a big charm on there, you can just put more damage counters. That's
Yeah,
really interesting.
that's very very interesting. Wow. So Ross Cawthon with the big brain plays there as he opts to. But he does put down the Shrine of Punishment there. So whilst that does hurt his own Arceus Dialga and Palkia, it does also allow him to get some damage ticking over on Ola's Lucario and Melmetal GX, which is with the Metal Frying Pan on it, quite a tank in and of itself. So yeah, interesting to see that you sort of played that down.
Yeah, I think the combo in general from ADP and Spiritomb is really nice because when you play Spiritomb, right, you are spending your first turns anyway just building Spite and essentially doing nothing. Might as well spend them attaching to an ADP and going for the GX attack. So yeah, it really uses those weak early turns that Spiritomb has a lot of the time. It uses them really well. And also, he's playing 3 Jinx. Usually Spiritomb builds are just playing like 1 or 2 Jinx, but he's playing 3 Jinx from Unified Minds. And we know, yeah, it can move around damage counters, and if there's one thing Ross absolutely loves, it's moving around damage. So, yeah,
Yeah,
that's...
absolutely. So meanwhile, the so just the ultimate ray from uh, uh, from Ross there, as he opts to not attach any energy. Interestingly
I
enough, already
believe he
because
doesn't play he plays only 2 basic energy.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah, so and obviously neither of them are very useful being attached to Spiritomb. So I guess that does make sense then. Now, Ul has the Chaotic Swell there to bump the Shrine of Punishment, so that will stop his Lucario Melmetal from taking any more damage. We do see there that he has a Tapu Fini in his hand as well. Obviously, not very useful in this matchup, but a great tech card against Blacephalon decks, able to, just for one colorless energy because of the way the attack cost is reduced to do 100 damage to any Blacephalon and KO it, and double leaf weakness for 200.
yeah, really important to have an answer for a deck like this, since you are playing only metal deck, right?
Yeah,
Then you need something to counter those pesky fire decks that can one-shot you even when you have a metal frying pan attached.
yeah, absolutely. Now, Primate Wisdom comes in, swap out the metal energy, and it looks like finding a switch afterwards. So maybe gonna actually use that. Yep, gonna go for the switch, and now we can go for a Steel Fist, and quite cleverly because of the way it worked out with the metal energy on top of the deck, he knows that you're guaranteed to have one, and you can just attach one metal energy to it.
Yeah, just finishing off the ADP with the Melmetal Lucario, where you don't need to fear a knockout quite easily, but still, like, Spiritomb can reach really, really high numbers of damage really easily. So you always have to be kind of scared and do the math in your head, like how hard can Spiritomb hit for. And I'm really surprised that we didn't see an early Jax attack from Ole. Like, reducing damage versus Spiritomb seems really, really good in this matchup, because it can just push for, like, with the ADP GX attack and the hustle belt, it would cap at, I believe, 250, no, 220, and that's enough to knock out the session without a frying pan. So
Yeah, big damage coming in potentially. Now, as we see, there's I'll just quickly just make sure he's absolutely sure about how it works. Acrobike gets played, and I believe that was a Fiona got discarded, not perhaps the most relevant card in this specific matchup.
yeah,
Yeah,
you really, you if you have access to the auto creation, you can just maybe go for, if your opponent benches Jax Pokemon, then you can just go for catcher into catcher, and then close out the way this game this way. And Fion is usually used to, like, deal with Pokedolls and stuff, but sometimes it can be really, really useful, especially in the beginning of a game, when your opponent only has one benched Pokemon, and you really want to hit that, you can just go for the Fion and bring it up this way.
yep. So another building spike coming in from Ross, which is, that sort of damage is building up quite quickly. Always going to be a little bit careful.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage on these Spiritombs already. And there's the sixth one. You're able to endure that hit due to the big charm on the Spiritomb, and now it's going to hit for a lot of damage.
Yeah, gosh, you're going up to 80 damage now. So Anguish Cry doing 250 damage. Yeah, that take the one hit knockout.
That's crazy. Yeah. 8 damage counters on the Spiritomb, 250 damage, taking 4 prizes on the Lucario Melmetal, and Ole hasn't have access to auto creation for his own, so he's going to keep taking 1 prize card of those Spiritombs, and I don't know if he's going to be able to keep up with that. I mean, he can now take a knockout with, like, for example, a slap on a Jirachi or something. And if he's playing Mew, which I believe, yeah, he's playing Mew, so he can, like, go for that. But if he would attack with the one prizer due to auto creation, he would just lose the game instantly. So I guess that's not an option for him. He needs to attack with something that can endure hit on the next turn.
Yeah, it's a bit of a problem, especially because I'm trying to think now. If depending on how much extra damage Ross can get on the board, he might be able to just be able to build up enough damage to KO even the Zacian V, for example. I guess it depends whether he can get rid of the frying pan in any way. So, like, do we know if Ross is playing Lysander Labs or something like that? Oh, no, that would negate the big charm, so no, that wouldn't
No, he's
work.
only playing 4 Shrine of Punishment, so
Okay.
targeting those tag teams. Like tag teams is one of the only things you can't one shot with the Spiritomb that has like 8 damage counters on it. You can't really get to tag teams, but
Yeah.
Shrine of Punishment fixes that math really easily. So like if you have a Spiritomb with 8 damage counters, 250 would be enough to knock out the Zacian with the Frying Pan, even a clean one. And I believe, yeah, with the Hustle Belt it would be 250 as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was mistaken earlier.
Well, yeah. In any case, Ola's probably in like a little bit of a tricky spot here. I don't think he even has like a good way to retreat the Jirachi here because obviously there's no skateboard and there's no switch in hand.
Yeah, he
He's
would
got
need
two.
to research into a switching card. Plus, I don't know. Like even he couldn't heal with the Mellow and Lana because he top decked it for the turn, and yeah, he put it back on top. But like, there's no real good way to use it because its damaged Pokemon is on the bench. So
Hmm.
that's the awkward thing about Mellow and Lana. It forces you to switch and heal 120 damage. And if your damaged Pokemon is not in the active spot, you can't heal because you can
So
switch it out.
it's also interesting that he decided to not attach one of the two metal energies in that hand before going for the research.
Yeah, there's a crushing hammer, but even if that hits heads, like that's not really going to do anything,
No.
because all of Ross's Pokemon attack with just one energy attachment. So it really seems like Ross is in the driver's seat. Like if you play one prizer and your opponent can't altered creation, that's just so good for you. So yeah, Ola, I believe there's nothing he can do. Yeah, he's attacking with the Zacian and maybe trying to like hopes that his opponent can't get enough damage counters on board. But I believe, yeah, it's pretty easy. Just 2 buildings wide, switching around the damage counter. Even Ross even has probably access to rainbow energy, so
Yeah,
I believe this should
that's
be all but over.
he does not need a lot. I think he's already got like enough damage build up on board. Oh yeah, he's got the rainbow too. So
Yeah.
yeah, that would be just building spite. That then with the anguish cry for the game, and Ross Cawthon advances one step closer to making it towards like one of 8 spots.
Yeah, really neat deck from Ross, just what we came to expect. Like Ross is always bringing those kind of rogue decks, like not even completely rogue, but just another take on decks that already have been really good in the meta game. That's like something he's done a lot of times. Decks that already have established itself, and just making them like combining 2 archetypes that already have been good earlier. I mean, Spiritomb was good in the end of last season. It was kind of good. We saw a little bit of play in like Cologne regionals and ADP, of course. It has been shining all over the meta since its release and has dominated a lot of tournaments since then. So yeah, combining those two, seeing the strengths, really, I think optimizing the archetype in a kind of way. Like a lot of decisions really make a lot of sense if you just think about it for a little bit. And yeah, that's what I really like about this deck. It's really, I think it's quite well thought out.
Yeah, it's really cool to see that archetype play out, as effectively as it has. And with not that many rounds to go, there is every chance that we actually could end up, seeing Ross Golfin make top 8. So crazy to think, after all this time, Ross has been an absolute veteran of veterans of the game. Having world championship results all the way back in the mid 2000s. So it's really cool to see him still playing now and in our tournament and doing really well.
Yeah, he needs one more win out of the next 2 rounds to like make top 8 for sure. So I believe, yeah, he has a really good shot. Like he's in one of the better positions. A lot of players actually need to win out to make it to top 8, but he just needs to win one of the next 2. So he should be able to do that, and maybe we'll see his deck again in top 8 and really